Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Yours truly is doing just exceptional. Let's get up into the bread and butter. Copperline Gorge Fastlands are back. Let's just leave it at that. These are all Phyrexia, all will be one leaks. There was a big leak, mainly rares. Dragonwing Glider, 3 colorless and 2 red mana. 4 Mirrodin! Why is there an exclamation point there? Anytime you guys play these cards, there's more than just one of these 4 Mirrodins. You've got to scream it, like, obnoxiously. Joy Moss style. When this equipment enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token, then attach this to it. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying and haste. So it's like a dragon. I mean, kind of. Okay, cool. Phyrexian Arena. The reprint machine is real. I was wondering when this was going to get a reprint. This has won me quite a few matches. I splashed this. I didn't splash it. I threw it in a zombie build a while ago. But man, you throw like 3 copies of this in like a zombie deck or 2 copies, whatever you want to do. You're going to be doing pretty good, man. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Of course, it all depends on how you're playing it. But the reprint machine is real. Phyrexian Arena, that's pretty cool. Black Cleave Cliffs. Man, there was one point these cards were like $25-$30 just for these lands. I know the price has tanked, though. We'll see. I don't even know what they're at right now. Conduit of Worlds. Like Crucible of Worlds, it's a 4-drop. 2 green, 2 colorless artifact. You may play lands from your graveyard. I like that. Tap, choose target non-land permanent card in your graveyard. If you haven't cast a spell this turn, you may cast that card. If you do, you can't cast additional spells this turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Bringing crap back from the graveyard. Sounds pretty good. The Eternal Wanderer. So the Wanderer has been making a big deal. When was the first time we saw Wanderer? Was that War of the Spark in Uncommon? I think so. So more. What does it say there? If more than one creature, only, no more. I'm not sure what that first word is. More than one creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat. Only one? I mean, maybe there's only one. 2? 2 more than one creature? No. Okay. No. It would have to say no. No more than one creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat. +1, exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the player's next end step. Or 0, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with double strike. Okay. Legit. -4 for each player. Choose a creature that player controls. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control, not chosen this way. Ooh, brutal. 5 starting loyalty. But that 6 is pretty high there, man. Probably going to be a bulkage. We'll see. Crucible Goliath. 4-drop, 1 in black, 1 in red, 2 colorless. Legendary creature. Phyrexian Beast. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card with lesser mana value. Put it on the battlefield. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Isn't that like similar to a certain mechanic? I mean, you have to sacrifice a creature, though. Okay. I mean, if you're dealing, if you're getting a perk from sacrificing your own creatures, then yeah, this is going to be sweet. It's going to slot in nicely to many builds. Okay. White Sun's Twilight for X and 2 white mana. Sorcery. You gain X life. What-a-do? But create X 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic. Toxic, just a reminder. Players dealt combat damage by a creature with Toxic 1 also get a poison counter. Okay. That is something. And this creature can't block if X is 5. Someone break that down. Let me know if you think it's going to be a powerful card. I don't know, man. A lot of these are really hard to just size up at first glance. The Mycosynth Gardens. I love that name, Mycosynth. Land, sphere, tap, add a colorless. For 1, tap, add 1 mana of any color. X tap, the Mycosynth Gardens becomes a copy of target non token artifact you control with mana value X. If it said it wasn't, you know, like the legendary rule didn't apply, I think that's pretty cool. You know, becomes a copy of target non-token artifact that you control. Non-token artifact. It's so funny it says non-token artifact. I guess it could get out of control, you know. No, maybe not. I think this one's okay. The Mycosynth Gardens becomes a copy of target non-token artifact. You go. Okay, it can't be legendary though. Otherwise, we'll see you later. So, all right, Venser Corpse Puppet. You're back. 2-drop. It's a 1/3 with lifelink and toxic 1. Whenever you proliferate, is this the time for Rolex Apex Hybrid to shine? As some of you are well aware, I own like 150 copies of this card. I don't recommend other people do that. It was reprinted in New Capenna Commander, which really, really like grinded my gears. But yeah, War of the Spark, 66 cents. I'm already down the tubes with this one. Stop reprinting so much, so us players and collectors can retain some type of value. Crikey, mate. All right. Anyway, back to the bread and butter goods, man. Here we go. So, lifelink toxic 1. When you proliferate, choose 1. If you don't control a creature named the Hollow Sentinel, create the Hollow Sentinel. A legendary 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature token. Or, so whenever you proliferate, it's possible to proliferate multiple times in a turn. Target artifact creature you control gains flying and a lifelink until end of turn. That's not bad. Lifelink can keep you in games. But Joey, why are you talking so much smack about that card that gains you X life? Shut up. Red Sun's Twilight. So it's almost like the Green Sun Zenith, the Red Sun Zenith, the Blue Sun Zenith. We have Red Sun's Twilight. Are we going to see an entire cycle? Most likely. I guess I'll white one. X and 2 red. Destroy up to X target artifacts. Great in Commander, because everyone likes to ramp it up. If X is 5 or more for each artifact destroyed this way, create a token that's a copy of it. Those tokens gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So that's kind of cool. Like, you could just kind of, not board wipe, but you can wipe out a lot of artifacts, or you can destroy your own artifacts and then, like, you know, bring it back anyway. I mean, for whatever reason you may need. But sorcery speed, I don't really care for it too much. Thrun, Breaker of Silence. It's a troll. Guys, we're dealing with a troll here. This spell can't be countered. I like spells like this. All right, for 5. It also has Trample, legendary creature. Thrun, Breaker of Silence can't be the target of non-green spells your opponents control, or abilities from non-green sources your opponents control. Wow. As long as it's your turn, Thrun has indestructible. Thrun, Breaker of Silence can't be the target of non-green spells. The problem with this is it's a 5-drop. I mean, you could lose the game by the time you're able to cast this, but it's in green, so you can ramp into it. I don't know why that seems powerful. Downside, it's a legendary. You can't, like, you don't want to have like a playset of this in your deck. Man, that's pretty dope right there. I think, right? Thrun, Breaker of Silence can't be the target of non-green spells your opponents control, or abilities from non-green sources your opponents control. That seems good. As long as your turn is indestructible. Seems like it's going to be rather like a pain in the butt to remove, man. And it can't be countered. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. They could have, if they would have put that at a 4-drop and made it mythic, holy crap, dude. That thing would have just annihilated people. Zenith Chronicler, 2-drop. Artifact creature, Phyrexian Construct. Whenever a player casts their first multicolored spell each turn, each other player draws a card. Each other player draws a card. Ooh. So if you just run like a mono deck, a mono build, whenever a player casts their first multicolored, I mean, that even includes you, though. Yeah. You want to just keep this mono. 3/1. Interesting. Very simple to remove, though, but interesting card there. Venerated Rot Priest. Toxic 1. Players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. Keep that in mind. Toxic 1. Players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. What's the why don't they just call it? Why isn't it just infect? Players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. I think it's a 1/2. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, a target opponent gets a poison counter. Whenever a creature you control. Okay, so just, like you're just pumping up your creatures, pump and dump kind of stuff. Why is it wording on Toxic 1 so weird? Players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. So would Toxic 2 then, be you get 2 poison counters from that person? I'm not certain. It's weird, though. So I think it's a 1/2. Craziness, man. Argentum, Masticore, 5-drop. All colorless artifact creature, Phyrexian Masticore. First strike, protection from multicolored. That's pretty cool. So a mono build, for sure. Maybe. Yeah. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Argentum, Masticore, unless you discard a card. When you discard a card this way, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to the mana value. Wow. I mean, you're kind of losing cards, though, on your own, So, basically some kind of, reanimator kind of build. I would assume, mono black would be the way to run this build right here, or run this card. But, I mean, then again, there could be other options out there. But this is it seems like a pretty decent Masticore. I know we've had a bunch of bogus ones, so that's cool. The Seed Core, Land Sphere, tap, add 1 colorless. Or tap. Add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast Phyrexian creature spells. Okay. Corrupted mechanic, tap, target 1/1 creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Activate only if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters. I hate stipulations, but that's something, This would fit nicely in my budget infect deck, but I mean, then again, maybe not. I mean, then again, no, it definitely would. It definitely would. Okay, that's kind of cool, even though it was mono green, but still, pretty legit. I like that you could pump stuff. That's cool. And then we have Maze Crusher, legendary creature, Phyrexian beast. Crusher enters the battlefield with 5 oil counters on it. For 1, remove an oil counter from Mig Laws. It gains vigilance and menace until end of turn. For 2, remove 2 oil counters from Mig Laws. It gets +2/+2 until end of turn. For 3, remove 3 oil counters from Mig Laws. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Wow, that's kind of brutal. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but for 3? If it has no oil counters on it, don't you have to sacrifice them? I believe so. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Yeah, I think when it has no, slick on it, you have to get rid of it, So that's a thing. All right, we're going to check out some other cards that were recently spoiled. This is Mirex. Did we do this one yet? Add a colorless, add 1 mana of any color, activates only when Mirex enter the battlefield this turn. For 3, tap, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian. Yeah, I think we did this one already. Artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. I think we may have already spoiled that one. I know we haven't done this one. Mind Splice Apparatus for 4. It has Flash. It's an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, put an oil counter on Mind Splice Apparatus. Sure. Oil counters, man. You know what's going to really be crazy? I'll show you in a minute. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each oil counter on Mind Splice Apparatus. Whoa. That could get out of control. Downside is it's a 4-drop. If this was like a 2-drop or something, I mean, you quickly get to that point, and then you're able to, continuously put these counters on your oil boy. All right, okay, whatever. The Monumental Facade? I don't know how to say that. Enters the battlefield facade. Joey. Okay, the Monumental Facade enters the battlefield. I think it's facade. Battlefield with 2 oil counters on it. Tap, add a colorless. Tap, remove an oil counter from the Monumental Facade. Put an oil counter on target artifact or creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Let me show you a card that'd be really cool. Hopefully it doesn't get a reprint in this set. That's right. If you guessed the Ozolith, you'd be correct. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. Now, the only downside about this is your oil counters. Usually, if you have no oil counters, then your creature's going to die. So there would be no counters on it anyway. But there could be other kind of counters on it. However, if one of your creatures die that had oil counters on them, you can move them. So, I mean, I would assume this may be a reprint already. God, don't reprint this. For the love of God, don't reprint this. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith on the target creature. That'd be a great way just to, load up a creature with oil counters, or whatever counters the case may be. And over here we have Vindictive Flamestoker. It's a 1-drop in red. Creature, Phyrexian Wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on Vindictive Flamestoker. Okay. For 7, sacrifice Vindictive Flamestoker. Discard your hand, then draw 4 cards. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each oil counter on Vindictive. Oh, okay. That is probably going to be a very impactful card, I would imagine. But wait, there's more. Deuce drop. We have the Hive. Well, not the Hive, but Skrelv's Hive. Enchantment at the beginning. Can we make this a little bigger? One moment. Hive. Enchantment. 2-drop. 1 colorless, 1 white. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1. And this creature can't block. Am I missing something? Is this the same thing as Infect? Or because Infect isn't it Infect the -1/-1 counter thing it deals if you have Infect hit? Infect's a pretty powerful ability, man. Corrupted, as long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with Toxic have a lifelink. It's pretty ugly, man. Then we have Kemba. Enduring. It's a cat cleric, 2-drop. Whenever Kemba or another cat enters the battlefield under your control, attach up to 1 target artifact equipment you control to that creature. Equipment you control. I'm sorry. Wait. That was the end of it. Equip creatures you control get +1/+1. And then for 5, create a 2/2 white cat creature token. It's a deuce. That's not bad. Up in your token build, it's gonna have a lot of fun. We got Forge, Urbrask's Forge at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put an oil counter on Urbrask's Forge. Then create an X/1 red Phyrexian horror creature token with Trample and Haste, where X is the number of oil counters on Urbrask's Forge. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. Evolved Spinoderm, 4-drop. Is this one we already saw? Maybe not. Enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. Evolved Spinoderm has Trample as long as it has 2 or fewer oil counters on it. Otherwise, it is hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Evolved Spinoderm. Then if it has no oil counters on it, sacrifice it. Oh, crap, to 5/5. Okay. I mean, maybe in a black-green build or something. That's kind of cool. Then we have the Rat King, 3-drop. Toxic 1, players dealt combat damage by this creature also get a poison counter. Okay. Other rats you control have Toxic 1. Sure. Would you want to throw this up in your rat build, though? When Karamonix enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards. I mean, if they're running lifelink, you probably would. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of rat cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. New rats in town, man. Enigma Goliath, 7-drop. Holy crap. 1 blue, 1 red. 5 colorless. Phyrexian Nightmare, flying. Ward 3 and pay 3 life. Well, at least it doesn't say something stupid like Ward 1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create X/1/1 red Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens, where X is the mana value of that spell. They gain haste until end of turn. Wow. Just getting to the point of casting this 7-drop, though. It's also a legendary. That's a little rough. Not really, though. I mean, depending what format you're playing. Like this in standard, maybe in a control shell or something, I could see. But I mean, it's not like it's going to work well with counters and stuff. But yeah, maybe in some kind of weird wacky control build. I don't even know. Then again, just ramping on up. Who knows? Who knows where this is going to sit? Enigma Goliath, pretty cool card though. Then we have Mercurial Spell Dancer 2-drop. Can't be blocked. I like that already. These cards are really annoying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on Spell Dancer. Whenever Spell Dancer deals combat damage to a player, you may remove 2 oil counters from it. If you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery of the spell, this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Wow. So any like damage dealing spells are definitely going to be a pain in the butt. Any spells, period, that you're going to be able to copy. That actually, this might be one of the better cards, in my opinion. Possibility. We will see how things work out. But this seems to be a pretty decent card. That whole not being able to block things, great. Yeah, I hate rogues. Okay, moving along. Tablet of Completion, sure. Completion. We are struggling, aren't we? Tablet of Completion, 2-drop, colorless artifact. Put an oil counter on Tablet of Completion. Completion? I don't know. Why can't it just say put an oil counter on whatever you want? That'd be cool. Tap, add a colorless, activate only if Tablet of Completion has 2 or more oil counters on it. Dang. Okay, so, I mean, it's like a mana rock, but a slow one. It's on the short bus. For 1, tap, draw a card, activate only if Tablet of Completion has 5 or more oil counters on it. Yeah, wow. If you can really quickly just throw a whole bunch of counters on this thing, man, oil counters, that whole 1 in tapping and drawing a card every turn, even the ability to untap with some other cards, that can get out of hand. Here's Geth, Fate of Contracts, 3-drop, Phyrexian Zombie, legendary creature. Other creatures you control get -1/-1, so he's already like, all right, we're just going to nerf our whole freaking squad here. For 3, tap, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile instead of putting it anywhere else. Activates a sorcery. Wow. I mean, you are giving all your other creatures -1/-1. A lot of zombies have 2 too, though. Not all, but quite a few. It gains if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile instead of putting it anywhere else. Wow. So I mean, it's not like you can like blink, or bounce creatures, because then they would just go bye-bye. Okay. Not him, but, Okay. Dees, Zekrom Coast. Grand Metatact, 3-drop. Phyrexian Vidalkin. Other blue creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, draw a card, then discard a card. Okay, so got some looting built in. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. Sure. Artifact builds for real. Phyrexian mana. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a blue artifact in addition to its other colors and types. Activate only as a sorcery. I mean, if that's going to at least give it a +1/+1. Okay. There's Grand Metatact. Interesting. Norn's Wellspring, 2-drop, artifact. Whenever a creature you control dies, scry 1 and put an oil counter on Norn's Wellspring. If it only said, like, put an oil counter on target creature you control. For 1, remove 2 oil counters from Norn's Wellspring, draw a card. So, I mean, yeah, if you're running oil builds and whatnot, this is going to want to go a bit in there. All right. I think we're almost down to the nitty-gritty here. We did already review this one. Blade of Shared Souls, 3-drop. Formidin! When this equipment enters the battlefield, again, create a 2/2 red rebel creature token. So whenever Blade of Shared Souls becomes attached to a creature, for as long as Blade of Shared Souls remains attached to it, you may have that creature become a copy of another target creature you control. I mean, that can get ugly. Equipped for 2. You got the right creature, man. That's going to get ugly, but that's probably going to be like a bulk one. Watch, I'm wrong. Archfiend of the Dross, 4-drop, 2 black, 2 colorless. Creature Phyrexian Demon. Not legendary. It's a 6/6 for 4. Flying, Archfiend of the Dross enters the battlefield with 4 oil counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove an oil counter from Archfiend of the Dross. Then, if it has no oil counters on it, you lose the game. Okay. Kind of like fading in a sense. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, its controller loses 2 life. Damn, son. Okay. That's cool. That's pretty potent potables right there. Who can tell me what that's from? Graz, Unstoppable Juggernaut, 8-drop. Holy crap. Legendary artifact creature, Juggernaut. Juggernauts you control attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control can't be blocked by walls. And other creatures you control have base power and toughness, 5/3, and are Juggernauts in addition to their other creature types. Wow. So, I mean, you get a bunch of, like, constructs out there, man. This thing's not bad, but 8-drop is steep, so you're going to have to, like, ramp into it or, you know, and whatnot. It is legendary as well. Not sure how I feel about that. And here is the Living Cure. It's good old Celestia, 1/1. Human Scout, if you would get 1 or more poison counters, instead you get 1 poison counter. And you can't get additional poison counters this turn. Exile Melira, the Living Cure. And this is totally a sideboard card. Choose another target creature or artifact when it's put into a graveyard this turn. Return that card to the battlefield under its control. Wow. I mean, just that ability right there, you might be able to run this. Just who cares about the poison stuff? 3/3. You could do that anytime. Wow. Okay, that seems actually pretty good. That seems pretty good, man. You're just like saving like a creature or artifact from death. Even if you were to sacrifice it yourself, it still just comes back. But because of like the colors it's in, it kind of makes it a little silly. We'll see what happens with that. Black Sun's Twilight, X and 1 black. Up to 1 target creature gets -X till end of turn. If X is 5 or more, return a creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tab. That's an instant, not a sorcery. Good on them. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Holy crap. That's going to wrap it up. Just something that, my own personal opinions, man, Reddit. I used to come on Reddit all the time. All the time, like 2-3 years ago. But, not even but. I mean, I still do. I'm on it right now. However, like, what I should say is I used to come on to, or I used to go on to Reddit, r/MTG a lot back in the day. But they restrict a lot of what is posted. I mean, basically, it's like WotC running this, and like there's a lot of politics that go into play with this, man. And just the comments and the upvotes and stuff are not the same as what they were 2-3 years ago. There were more, regardless that there's more people on this Reddit now. And that goes for the MTG Arena one on Reddit also. Just something I noticed. Maybe like, you know, stop like forcing people to like think a certain way. I mean, it's obvious you want to not allow toxic information or, you know, things to be said, you know, in any thread if, you know, it's going to cause problems. But too much of anything is a bad thing. Just remember that. All right, I'm out of here. I'm Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming. Let me know what you think of the spoilers today, the leaks. Is there any cards that you feel are overpowered, underwhelming? You know, let me hear it, man. What card are you looking forward to? And if a card was not mentioned on here, what did I miss? Appreciate you tuning in. Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming, Skadoosh.